Since I was 20 till 27, I wasn't in a relationship. I didn't have a girlfriend. I never had a good experience of what true feminine energy was like. I always thought it was aggressive. I grew up witnessing a lot of fights between my aunties, my uncles. I could never think in my mind that by me doing this over a period of time that I'll be able to get girls. Every time I'll go out, it would feel like a dagger to the heart. There were a lot of nights at the start where I'll come back and I'll just be in tears. The mentoring on the course, it was like a catalyst for my growth. I met an incredible girl and I was dating a couple of other girls at the same time. It's possible to completely change your identity and become a different person through sheer persistence, support, and action.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here with another review with one of my mentoring clients. Harry, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man.
Perfect. So Harry is brave enough to put himself on YouTube, which I always highly appreciate and respect, especially after such a crazy journey he went through over the last 6 months. Take us back before we started working together. What was your dating life like? And you can go a little bit into struggles and paint the picture a little bit.
Throughout my whole life, I've struggled a lot with developing intimate connections and relationships with girls. And that started from when I was in school all the way up until I basically started this course. And I'm 29 now, but I started this course when I was 28 at the start of the year. So yeah, I had like one girlfriend when I was 20, and that relationship didn't go very well because I had such a distant attachment style. So, you know, she wanted to see me a lot throughout the relationship, but I wouldn't see her for like a long time. Like we'll meet up like once every 2-3 weeks. And then I went to India towards the end of our relationship for 2 months because I dislocated my hip, and then I wanted to go to the Himalayas. So basically that relationship fizzled out. And then since I was 20 till 27, I wasn't in a relationship. I didn't have a girlfriend. And it was a long period of me not being able to connect well with the other sex.
Okay. How did, when you say struggling with intimacy, how did that express itself on a day-to-day basis?
After school, I didn't really have many female friends. So when I went into university after school, I didn't expose myself to relationships with the other sex. Whenever I would like interact with girls or be very platonic, I was very scared of being able to, show my true intentions. And I always felt guilty when I did, or, my self-worth wasn't that high. So I would feel like, oh, I'm not good enough for this girl. And that would just manifest into having very like platonic and boring interactions. Like I wanted to express my true intentions with the opposite sex, and I always felt I was reserved around women. So I had really good friendships, and I was able to connect with guys very well because I didn't give a shit about their opinions. There was no sexual, connections that I had with guys. I'm not gay. My relationships with guys have been fine, but with girls, like I was very scared to pursue things. I was very scared to take things further. I was very scared to put myself out there. So that made me a bit reserved when I was around women. I'd quieten down. I wouldn't express my true desires and opinions. So it was really horrible. You feel like you're in this prison, and it took until I joined your course for me to like completely unravel those behaviors and express myself authentically.
Wow. And all that was in the UK?
Yeah, this was all in the UK. I went to university in London, and as I was saying before, I had one relationship there. I wouldn't even count it as a relationship. And then I didn't, like, when you go to university, people are like, oh, you should bang so many girls, you should have so many parties, like I've this girl this weekend, I've this girl this weekend. And like for me, I just had none of those stories throughout university. So
it took probably another couple of years until you finally took action, right?
Yeah, so at the end of uni, I discovered game. Like I came across the Mystery Method book, I came across RSD, and I started to take a little bit of action at the end of uni. I found a pickup group in the city, and I started to like do a little bit of pickup, but then I was like, wow, this is super difficult. Like, I can't believe I have to do this to be able to get girls. So then I just gave up.
Mm.
I let it go, and then I just carried on with my life. I went traveling after university. I went to Madagascar, where there was abundance of hot young travelers. For like, I was living there for 3 months.
Oh,
And
just to meet ladies, or?
no, for volunteering, but you had all of
Okay,
these like
volunteer.
cute, you had all of these cute travelers for like America, the UK, Europe. They're there looking to have fun, and I remember this one girl. She was stunning. She was so cute, and she was from America. She was 19. I was 22 at the time, and we were sitting at night just off the beach on some steps alone together, and she was like explaining to me some of the issues that she was having in the past, and she was opening herself up to me, and I was just there petrified, just like, oh my god, I can't believe this hot girl's talking to me, and I didn't know what to do. And I can see it in her eyes, just getting more and more bored of her sitting there next to me. And then yeah, she left after like 10 minutes. It was horrible.
Where do you think that fear is coming from your past?
I think it came from the experience I had of feminine energy growing up. My family, especially my mother, they're very the females in my family, like my aunties, my mother, they're very volatile.
Yeah,
And
I can relate to that.
I grew up witnessing a lot of fights between my aunties, my uncles, my auntie, my dad, my auntie, my mum, like physical fights, the police having to have got called over to our house several times whilst I was growing up. And I never had a good experience of what true feminine energy was like, and I always thought it was aggressive. So I always had this fear, I think, embedded in me of expressing myself in front of girls. And also, like, my dad, he did a lot for our family. And if I was dating my mom, it's my story. But if I was the type of person that was dating my mom, I would have just left that a long time ago. And but my dad, he has this value, like, he comes from a traditional Indian value system, and the family's always meant to stay together. So it wasn't like a fully arranged marriage, but they were just introduced to each other, and then they started dating together. But I just grew up, my mom completely, kind of like abusing my dad, disrespecting him, and I never wanted that for myself growing up. So that really put a halt on me pursuing relationships, because I had this fear of me being in a relationship and the same thing happening to me as what happened to my father. So that was another reason.
Wow, so it's kind of like the trauma that turns into the driving force as well, to do something differently, right? Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. So, I mean, you say you were 22 when you were there, and you joined the mentoring program at 28. Like, what was kind of like the low points, maybe at 27, 28, that made you realize, okay, now I need help? Because, obviously you spend a lot of money on working with us, and that took some maybe extra push in the end to finally go for it. Do you remember, was there a situation or a certain mindset that made you seek out an external help?
Yeah, definitely. I was doing game for probably about 7 months before I joined the course, 8 months before I joined the course, around about that time. And I was doing night game predominantly. I met some wings in Bristol who I went out with, and I just realized, like, night after night, the grind and emotional labor I had to go through to even like put myself out there and like speak to hot girls in groups. And it was awful, because I'll just go out, and like most of the nights at the start of the journey, I would just bomb, and it would feel like this is impossible. I could never think in my mind that by me doing this over a period of time that I'll be able to get girls, because every time I'll go out, it would feel like a dagger to the heart. Like, no one was like interested in speaking to me. I would go out feeling very nervous, so that would spill into my interactions, and the girls could feed off that, or they could see that I
Mm-hmm.
was scared. There were a lot of nights at the start where I'll come back and I'll just be in tears.
Wow. What?
I'll just be crying.
That's deep. What? What still gave you hope, though? I mean, that sounds pretty tough and
Mhm.
difficult. Like, but it seems like you still had hope that there is a way. Like, what
Yeah.
gave you hope that there's another way?
I had one wing that I
Uh-huh.
met called Ollie, and he was exceptional. Like, he was very good. He was the best that I've seen. And I was going out with him a lot, and he was getting results. So I knew it was possible. Like, deep down, I was like, okay, if I can just try and figure out how I can overcome my own personal bullshit, you know, I could become like him. So I had someone there who I knew who I knew could get results, and then I had this belief that, you know, if I just like, I was like, also, what's the other options?
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing else to
Yeah.
do. I had no results. So
I guess
this
you
felt
checked
like,
dating apps and you,
yeah,
I don't know, tried a bunch of other things. Well, it's crazy how that one guy can inspire you. That's all it takes sometimes. That one person as a model that shows you, okay, there is a way, and he figured it out somehow. So there's some path, and I just have to find it.
yeah.
With knowing what you know now, if you could go back and tell your, younger self something, or the self that was struggling the most, what would you tell your younger self with the new knowledge you have?
That it's possible to completely change your identity and become a different person through sheer persistence, support, and action. Don't feel upset that you're unable to, or don't get depressed like that you're unable to attract girls, because you can definitely, you know, overcome these issues within yourself, and you can definitely change yourself as a person.
What made you then trust me and my team to join our program out of all the offers that are out there?
I had some good recommendations actually from a friend. So he recommended me the course. And you know, I feel like I'm quite introverted. I think throughout the course I've discovered like more of my extroverted personality, but generally speaking, I'm quite an introverted person. I like being by myself, um, spending time alone. That's like my calm place. So when I resonated with your videos, I felt like they were very different to, you know, some of the content online, especially, you know, RSD. You know, they portrayed themselves like you have to be this very like extroverted guy. You have to go out and like say crazy shit to girls, you know, grab their attention, do crazy stuff. And I do like that aspect of it, but also I liked your style where, you know, you went out on the streets and you were very chill and you still were getting results. So that made me intrigued, as well as my friend recommending me to you. So
Yeah, that is an interesting point. Like, you joined the program. I think it was a bit of a mix with you, right? On the one hand, some of the sessions you did with Liam were like guided meditations, going like deep into your psychology. And on the other hand, you went crazy in night game, approaching groups of women, being, super extroverted. Like you said, you are an introverted. I know you are a software engineer and very analytical in that sense. How was that? Like, tell us a bit about your experience with, getting mentored every week by us, having that feedback loop. How was that experience for you? And maybe the two sides of, on the one hand, the very, introspective, meditative way, and then also going out there and putting it into action.
yeah, the mentoring on the course was like a catalyst for my growth. I could feel that, like, if I didn't have the mentoring, if I didn't join this course, I feel like my game would be a lot further behind now than it would have been if I did join the course. So it was hugely impactful into my journey, into my growth of my journey. Liam was he's such a great coach, and he offered very like personalized guidance for me. I would go out and, record my sets and show him, my sets like through video or through the microphone that I used. And like he would break down my sets and he would see like instantly where I was making mistakes.
Yeah.
And
what was the main mistakes you made? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, I was being way too gamey and way too inauthentic when I would approach girls. Like, I'll go up and I'll try and say the most outrageous thing. I'll try to get them to laugh. I'll be trying to make a reaction or get them to have a reaction. And I think that made me, just less inauthentic. It didn't make me seem genuine. And he saw that in my initial sets. And he was just like, yo, just chill down, speak slower, develop, more grounding in yourself, have more eye, maintain eye contact with the girls. And also he noticed, like, when I was going out, I'd record some sets and I wasn't being true to myself. Like, he could see that I was scared to express or to be vulnerable with girls. I took a break from the course actually because I met a guy on the course that wanted me to build an app for him. So that was taking up all my time. So I took like a two-month break and I was working on the app. And so I wasn't having coaching during that time. This was when I was in Romania. And when I came back, when I
met up
finished the
with
app,
other guys from the group though, right?
yeah, I met up with Constantine. So when I came to Romania in March, I met up with Constantine and we were initially going out. And yeah, that was a great thing about joining the group, is like you have a network of people, around Europe where you can go to a city and meet up with guys that have the same mentality. So that was great. So I met up with Constantine and then I was going out with him for a week and then took a break for 2 months because he wanted me to build an app for him. And then after those 2 months, one of my other friends flew to Romania and then we just all started going out hard, like 2-3 nights a week. And that was like I saw a real spike in my growth because combining all the lessons and all the experiences that I was having going out with the feedback that Liam was getting me, it got me my first lay from game and from pickup. So yeah, it was insane. And also the results just started to like snowball after 1 month, after 2 months. And it was just mind-boggling to me. I couldn't like understand like how this is possible.
You were
so
surprised how
my
much you could change in such a short amount of time?
Yeah.
After all these years, I guess, right?
Yeah. And when you have these experiences, girls suddenly starting to like you, suddenly starting to be interested in you, your dates are going smoother, you're taking girls home, you're like, it was just like a bomb went off in my head. I was like, I cannot believe this is possible and this is happening. It was incredible. And it made it worth it, to be honest, spending all this time with having that lack of intimacy and connection. And then all of a sudden, it started to kick off. It made it really satisfying. And yeah, like with the guidance of Liam, meeting the people on the course and the other classmates like on the course live and going out with them, and having this constant support group where you can ask questions and get your answers and you can help other people. It made me create a bubble in my life of just getting better in this area. Everyone who I knew, all my friends that I met on the group, it was revolved around this, and it really helped.
Like a 4-month period of intense focus on that one thing with a crazy support network, just directed it all in one direction, right? Okay, cool. You went out a lot, you got attention, you got numbers, you got laid. Then tell us about your dating situation now.
Yeah, I met an incredible girl in Belgrade in Serbia. And I was dating a couple of other girls at the same time as her. And I met her like 2 weeks before I was leaving Belgrade. But yeah, the connection we had just was very different to the other girls I was dating at the time.
What was different about it?
It was just so natural and it just felt so good. There was no effort on my part to be someone else. There was no effort on her part to show interest. We just liked each other. She was attractive. She liked what I did on our dates, on the dates that we had together. We have very similar interests. We talk about similar things. It's very easy just to spend time together. Like we can sit together and not get bored of each other. We can spend a lot of time together, not get bored of each other. So I did,
real genuine connection.
Yeah, and it took a lot of approaches to find someone like that.
Yeah, it's new experiences for you, right? Like being in a relationship like that.
Yeah.
Like how was that for you? Like suddenly, having a girlfriend or having a a serious relationship with a girl. Did your kind of view on masculinity change in that as well?
Before having a relationship with her, I felt like I had to have this masculine frame all the time. Like I needed to be super masculine, I needed to be dominant, I needed to, be someone that I'm not fully. And with her, she would see when I'm holding back how I was truly feeling about a situation. Let's say, for example, when she left Barcelona, I was really upset and I didn't want to express that because I didn't want to seem like an idiot or like someone who's a simp. I was like holding that back, but it was like affecting me quite deeply that, she's going, we might not see each other again. And then when I started
to act cool, you mean?
Yeah. And then when I opened up to her, she was like, baby, that like I am way more attracted to you when, you're vulnerable with me like this. And then that just made me realize like, oh wow, I don't have to be like, I can express my emotions and how I feel, to a girl.
Yeah, made all these rejections worth it, I guess, being able to attract a girl like that who's, it sounds like she's very in tune with her heart and what she wants and able to express it to you. And I guess selected you as the guy who she can express this to. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you feel now? Like that's been, a couple months of this, and I know you just got back to the UK. How do you feel now after this experience? Because basically the course came to an end, you finished the weekly classes and mentoring. How do you feel now?
Yeah, I feel so much more grounded and just comfortable in myself by going through this course and going through the experiences that I did. Because I think, putting yourself out on the line, approaching girls, going to clubs, approaching groups, it starts to teach you not to give a shit about, small things. Like say, for example, before this course, I'd walk on the street and I would have these slight fears of, judgment of people, like worrying how I look in front of other girls, worrying how I'm walking, all of these unnecessary worries. I don't have them anymore because when you put yourself through the fire like this consistently over a period of months, you just start to worry less. And I really appreciate that because, on a day-to-day basis, having this constant worry is not nice. And the fact that that's, diminishing and nearly gone, that was like a big thing. And to know that I'm able to attract girls.
Yeah.
That's just, it's nice to be able to have
kind of
that
knowing
feeling.
that makes you less stressed about girls as well and less worry about that you don't attract them, right? So, and that's like then the positive loop of like, that's the kind of guy they want.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it feeds into itself when you know that you can go out and you can, approach girls and attract girls and go on dates. And then when you're in a relationship, you don't have to bend your back for the other girl. If she's making too many demands on your life and you don't want to have the demands put on you, you can just say no. But if you feel like you couldn't get another girl, or if you don't have the skills of attraction and game, you might be doing things that you're not comfortable with in order to please her. So it's been helpful. For a lot of my life, I had this belief that it was impossible to get better. I could never picture myself in this situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it happened. And it happened because of like, taking massive action, spending money. Like, I think that was a big thing. I'm like, okay, now I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If I don't take action and waste this course, and I've just wasted all this money. So that was a big incentive. And then, the coaching with Liam, the support group on the Telegram group, it was incredible. And, it made the year basically. The Telegram group and the coaching, it made my year because of the friends and the network that I made. Going out with people, for example, from the group in Budapest, Shubs, he flew over to see me. We had like such a good time in Budapest, meeting Konstantin, and having just this support group and this bubble of people, wanting the same results. It was inspiring to be in that environment.
I love it. I love what it became. That's so cool to hear. Yeah. What an honor that I get to host, this thriving group and of motivated guys who are all working together in a vulnerable way.
Yeah.
So dope.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's an incredible course. Like I wouldn't, when you're purchasing a course like this, you know, it comes with a price tag, and you always feel like, oh, are courses like this worth it? Like going into it, is it going to be a scam, or is it going to waste my money? And then I did it, and I had these doubts, but they were completely overwritten. Like it was worth every single
What was the
penny.
main doubt? Do you remember where you're like right before you send the money?
Because it was a lot of money, and I've never had a course, I've never been on a course like this before, so I didn't know how much it could change me. You know, how it could change me. Because if you have this belief that you can't change, and you know, you don't know if this course is able to change you, you have these doubts of like, oh, if this doesn't change me, then, or if I just want to get better, and let's see what happens. And it was worth the decision was worth it, like completely.
Wonderful. What are you excited about now, looking into the future?
Yeah, I wanna become more independent for my career. I want to go deeper into the relationship that I had, or with the relationship that I have from the girl I met on this course, and explore that relationship more. I want to travel more, and yeah, my brother, he's currently working on a business in India, so building out the tech infrastructure for him. So that's going to be cool if it does kick off, because you know, I can be more flexible in terms of where I work and where I live. And I think that's kind of what I want out of my life right now. You know, a deep relationship and being able to travel and be more flexible with my career. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Wonderful. Very exciting. Good stuff coming. All right, beautiful. Any last words, whatever you want to share to the guys who are still watching?
If you have any doubts with, you know, being able to improve yourself in this area, you definitely can. And I think having help, a support group and a coach, you know, it just catalyzes your results.
Before Harry tells us another story where one girl invites him and another guy to the spa, just a quick reminder, you can change. Harry is right. You can take action and you can do this. So if you're inspired now by this beautiful, beautiful interview of Harry, you can click below or above wherever you're watching this and book a free first consultation call where we go deep into your situation and figure out, can we help you? How would we help you? What strategy would we apply for your particular dating problems and hurdles and challenges? So click below, take that step, go on that call. It's free. We do 2 of them per day. So book your slot and make this year the year of change. Back to Harry's story.
When I got my first lay from cold approach, you know, I was in a sticky situation because I had a really good date with the girl the day before. So this was in Romania. I just approached her on the street, and then I spent the whole evening with her. And then she needed to go to like a bar because she was on a pub crawl. This girl, she lives in Amsterdam. And so we separated, and then we were messaging the next day. And then she was going to this spa called Turdme, just outside of Bucharest. And she wanted me to come with her. So I was like, okay, cool, that's nice. But she was flying the next day. So it was good signs. I was like, okay, she invited me to the spa. And so then I went. And then when I went into the spa, she was lying on a bed. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, how's it going? And as soon as I said that, another dude was there who just walked into our conversation. And then he said hey to her. And I was thinking like, oh, what's going to happen here? And basically they were hanging out for the whole day, and I kind of started to feel a bit annoyed. I'm like,
so you were like the third wheel. She invited you as the third wheel to a date?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the kind of cringe situation that's just gonna happen inevitably when you put yourself out there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but I started to feel a bit shit. I was like, fuck's sake, why did she invite me?
Yeah.
Like, if she had this other guy here. Then the other guy was questioning me. He was like, oh yeah, so she told me how you met. Are you guys like a serious thing? And I was like, nah, not really. And then basically I was like to her, I was like, come, let's go get a drink by the bar. Let's go by the bar and get a drink. And then he like followed us, and I was like thinking like, dude, just go. But he followed us to the bar, and then it was like a weird conversation between me, him, and the girl. We were kind of like trying to, you know, just game her individually at the same time. And I just felt a bit awkward. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a break. In my head, I was like, I'm going to take a break from this. And there was some nice like sunbeds nearby. So I went over to there, and then like this is the beautiful thing about having Liam as a coach. I started messaging him at the time, and then he was telling
like
me
live support.
life support. Yeah. I was like, bro, I'm in this situation. I was with this girl. We had a great date the other day, and you know, she's here, but she's with another guy. And then Liam was just messaging me. He's like, bro, it's fine. Don't worry. Just chill. What you need to do is you need to like isolate her. You need to figure out a way for you to win, right? That's what you need to do. How are you going to get her to, how are you going to win in this situation? And then he was like, figure out a way to isolate her from the guy. You know, that's all you need to do. And then you can just, you know, spend your time with her without the dude there because he's shit up. So then after I was messaging Liam, I went back to where they were or close by to get my towel, and she saw me. So then they started coming towards me, and then she was like, I was like, yo, let's go into the sauna. And then she was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then he started coming, and I was like, oh no, excuse me, dude, like, you know, we haven't spent that much time together, like she's leaving tomorrow, can it just be like us
Straight
two for a
up.
bit and we can find you later? And then he was like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll go find my friends.
Yeah.
So then yeah, we went into the sauna, and then, you know, I started becoming a bit more intimate, started touching her leg, it got a bit sweaty. So I was like, come, let's go into the pool. And then I walked into the pool, and I turned around, and then I put like my hands out, and then she came into my hands, and I put her legs around my waist, and then we're just like, you know, bouncing around the pool, I was making out with her for the whole time and just having fun. And then she invited me back to hers, and then she left the next day.
Was her last night? Yeah, she wanted action. She probably was like, I definitely want to get action tonight. I better double down. I'm gonna invite two guys. One is gonna figure it out. Like she basically brought insurance.
Yeah, she
Just like, okay, whoever's more dominant will get me.
Yeah.
In a like calibrated way. Nice. That's
But
cool.
yeah, having Liam there was helpful, because I think if I didn't have that support at the time, I'm like this.
Yeah, that's crazy to get the live chat.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, and I want to thank you. You definitely took action. You took the advice we gave you. You were very active in the community. You also tried to contribute. You tried to support the other guys. You know, I obviously noticed the longer you were in the program, the more you took on kind of like a bigger brother role for some of the other guys, giving feedback. And you were incredibly vulnerable. You shared your thoughts, and you still do it now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts, your feelings, your lessons you made along the way, which is really inspiring for all the other over 70 guys now in the group. So thank you for that. That's exactly the kind of guy I want to work with.
Thank you, man, for creating this course. It's been hugely impactful in my life, like literally life-changing. So
beautiful. Okay, cool. Then have a good one. Hope we can meet up soon. I want to come to London eventually.
Nice.
And thanks again.
Cool. Take care, man. Bye.